Question: what's the very first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the words manga and anime? Is it over-exaggerated poses, speed lines, or perhaps big round eyes? To many Western comic book readers, the manga industry is something that they try to avoid like the Black Plague. Now, what if I told you that the manga industry is publishing some of the best comics that you haven't been reading? That in neglecting this massively popular enterprise, you are in fact denying yourself some of the most amazing monthly books that are being published today. So my goal for this video is to inform you of some of the history of manga and to try to convince you that if you haven't been reading manga, to at the very least give it a shot. So without further ado, manga is a Japanese term that means whimsical pictures. Today, that can be translated to comics. The modern age of manga started during and after the occupation of Japan in World War II, when GIs would bring comics over. During this boom of American-influenced style books, one manga was born, one that will eventually be established as the grandfather of the industry. Astro Boy, or as he is known in Japan, the Mighty Atom, quickly became a cultural icon and has grown to be celebrated by many as the Mickey Mouse of their culture. Fast forward a few years, and manga and anime are everywhere. Series like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach, and more recently, Attack on Titan have infiltrated our pop culture. Manga has boomed in the West, with genres ranging from cooking to sports to the popular shonen style. Which leads me to my first point: the different genres. If you have a hobby, if you have a passion, whether it's a particular sport or you're a foodie, manga has the book for you. Take for example the popular sports manga, Slam Dunk. In Slam Dunk, Sakuragi is a troubled teen whose athleticism leads him to join the Shohoku basketball team. Equal parts a Rocky story and a sports coming-of-age drama, Slam Dunk is well known as a must-read for sports enthusiasts and is known for having some of the greatest art in manga today. Not a fan of sports, but you love cooking? Well, it might come as a surprise to you, but over 40% of today's manga is dedicated to food, the most popular of which is Food Wars. Centering around Soma Yukihira, this spiky-haired red-headed boy works at his father's restaurant with his goal being to be the greatest chef ever and surpassing his father in culinary skills. His father eventually enrolls him into the top culinary school of Japan, and he must continuously compete against his fellow classmates in food-based trials to maintain his place in the school. Food Wars is extremely popular, and for good reason. The depictions of the food will make your mouth water, and they'll make you instantly want to try either being a chef or going out and trying to buy some of the food that's shown in this anime. Let's say that none of these appeal to you, and you're into something that's a bit more, well, darker. Dark Souls fans, have you ever wondered where Miyazaki got his inspiration for some of his monstrous creature designs? Well, Berserk is the manga for you. Centering around the character of Guts and his continuous quest for revenge against the God Hand, Berserk features some of the most gruesome creatures ever placed into a medieval setting. Berserk is highly recognized as one of the best manga ever published, with the first 13 volumes being regarded as some of the best material that the industry has ever published. When looking at the manga industry as a whole, one of the common complaints that I hear from fans is that the series just keep going and they have no end. I always find this complaint interesting when we know that traditional Western comics like Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman will never end because they are key icons of a much bigger machine. Which leads me to my next point. Most manga have a definitive ending. For example, the classic dystopian sci-fi manga Akira is only 6 volumes long and has a solid beginning, middle, and an ending. One of my favorite manga series, 20th Century Boys, is only 22 volumes long, with the 2 epilogue volumes, 21st Century Boys, closing out the series in a way that left me with tears in my eyes and the realization of the journey that I had been on. Endings are said to be the hardest thing to do as a writer, but there's something about the structure of a manga that really lends itself to having a beginning, middle, and an ending, and this kind of structure also allows it to be very much accessible to the common man. I've spoken about accessibility before and how crucial it is to most readers. And like I've mentioned in other videos, Marvel and DC Comics have had over 50 plus years of continuity, which can lead to a sense of being a bit overwhelmed when you're starting out. With manga, it's a bit easier than that. Find the particular genre that you are interested in and start with volume 1. It's that simple. At the end of the day, there's just one One Punch Man, one Full Metal Alchemist, one Attack on Titan, and so on and so on. The accessibility with manga is there, it's just a bit intimidating when focusing on a series like Bleach that has over 71 volumes out. My recommendation for you is to start with something smaller, like the aforementioned 20th Century Boys or Naoki Urasawa's 9-volume run, Pluto, reflecting on the rise of technology in Japan and what it means to be a human. The last thing that I'm going to touch on is just how much manga can expand your horizons. With manga's roots firmly planted in Japan, it makes for an interesting look at a culture that few of us will ever get to experience firsthand. I can't count the amount of times that people in my life have told me that they would love to visit and experience the culture of Japan, but finances being what they are, I don't think it will ever happen. With many manga titles set in Japan and telling everyday stories of what it's like to live in that culture, it's easy to get a sense of everyday life there. The manga industry is vast and wide, and while to some it may be a bit intimidating, taking the plunge into these books is well worth the time and investment. You'll be discovering new worlds, characters, and genres that you never knew about, all while expanding your understanding of a culture that most of us have a fondness for, but will probably never see. In the end, the choice is yours, and trust me when I say that if you do decide to take the leap, it will be a ride worth taking. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video, and if you liked it, hit the like button down below. If you want, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter, that's going to be found in the description. And if you want to support this channel and everything that I do, Patreon is found down below where you get a ton of exclusive content and the notes for this video. With that said, let me know what you think down below in the comments section. I love you guys. Have a great week.